Introduction. Reproduction is the basic biological process by which organisms give birth to new organisms similar to themselves. Every living organism is the result of reproduction. The many known modes of reproduction are generally classified into sexual and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction needs the involvement of two individuals of opposite sex. During sexual reproduction, female produces egg which will be fertilized by the spermatozoa released by male. An embryo is formed which develops into adult. Generally, higher complex organisms practice this method. During asexual reproduction, an individual can reproduce without the help of any other members of that species. Generally, lower, less complex organisms practices this method. Objectives. At the end of this module, you will be able to highlight the importance of reproduction, describes the modes of reproduction in animals, compare the merits and demerits of sexual and asexual reproduction, characterize the human reproductive organs, mention the types of fertilization in animals, differentiate oviparous and viviparous animals, illustrate the process of in vitro fertilization, explain the phenomenon of cloning. Human reproductive system, male. In males, the sex organs or genitals are located both inside and outside the pelvis. The male genitals includes the testicles or testes. In a boy who has reached sexual maturity, the two testicles or testes are produced and store millions of tiny sperm cells. The testicles also produce hormones including testosterone. Testosterone is the hormone that causes boys to develop deeper voices, bigger muscles, and body and facial hair, and it also stimulates the production of sperm. The duct system. Alongside the testicles are the epididymis and the vas deferens, which make up the duct system of the main reproductive system organs. The vas deferens is a muscular tube that passes upward alongside the testicles and transports the sperm containing a fluid called semen. The epididymis is the set of a coiled tube, one for each testicles, that connects the vas deferens. Scrotum. The epididymis and the testicles hang in a pouch-like structure outside the pelvis called the scrotum. This bag of skin helps to regulate the temperature of testicles, which need to be kept cooler than the body temperature to produce sperms. The scrotum changes size to maintain the right temperature. When the body is cold, the scrotum sinks and becomes tighter to hold in body heat. When it is warm, the scrotum becomes larger and more flopping to get rid of extra heat. The accessory glands. The accessory glands, including the seminal vesicles and the prostate glands, provides fluids that lubricate the duct system and nourish the sperm. The urethra. The urethra is the channel that carries the semen to the outside of the body through the penis. The urethra is also part of the urinary system because it is also the channel through which the urine passes as it leaves the bladder and exits the body. The penis. The penis is the ejaculatory organ through which the semen would be ejaculated. Human reproductive system, female. The female have a reproductive system located entirely in the lowest part of the abdomen. The external part of the female reproductive organs include the vulva, which means covering. The labia, which means lips, are the two pairs of skin flaps that surrounds the vaginal opening. The clitoris. a small sensory organ located towards the front of the vulva where the folds of the labia joins. A female internal reproductive organs includes the vagina, a muscular hollow tube that extends from the vaginal opening to the uterus. It has several functions for sexual intercourse, as the pathway that a baby takes out of the human's body during childbirth, and as the route for the menstrual block to leave the body from the uterus. The cervix that connects the vagina with the uterus or womb. The cervix has strong, thick walls. The opening of the cervix is very small. During childbirth, the cervix can expand to allow a baby to pass. The uterus, shaped like an upside down pear, with a thick lining and muscular walls that contains some of the strongest muscles in the female body. These muscles expands and contracts to accommodate a growing fetus and then help push the baby out during the labor. The fallopian tube, two in number, each attached to a side of the uterus. Within each tube is a tiny passageway, and the other end of each tube is a Frenched area that look like a funnel. The ovaries, two oval-shaped organs that lie to the upper right and left to the uterus. They produce, stores, and release egg into the fallopian tubes in the process called ovulation.